Happy Tip Tuesday, golfers. Okay, Jake, we're out on the lesson tee today, and we're working with what I think is the toughest club for a lot of people, the longest fairway wood, 3-wood. I got a lot of questions about this, so let's talk about the keys to how to hit it. I would start off, first of all, with saying make sure you do have enough loft. I mean, this golf club isn't teed up like your driver, and it's not very lofted, so you've got to make sure you have a golf club that gives you an 11 or 12 degree launch angle. So just because it says 4 or 5 here, if it's a 3-wood length and it gives you the right parameters of ball flight, I wouldn't just look for that 3 all the time, would be the first advice I'd give.
Yeah, I think you need to find the wood with the right amount of loft and length to maximize it for you, and that could be unique for different people. So it's a great starting point.
Okay, I think setup's a big deal too. So bring us through checkpoints for a 3-wood setup. What do we want to do with ball position, posture, distance from ball? Let's see it.
Yeah, so first things first, let's talk ball position because it's so important to manage your low point with a 3-wood. So we want the ball in the correct spot.
Yeah.
If you think about a driver, we want that ball in line with our lead foot, mostly at our lead heel to help hit up on the ball.
Yeah.
And with an iron, we usually have that ball about 3 inches off of that foot at my lead ear to encourage me to hit slightly down on it. So with a 3-wood, I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to have it about 1 inch to 1.5 inches behind my lead foot so that I'm a little more shallow at impact by the time I get there. So that would be change number 1 I would make.
Yeah, awesome. Like it.
Number 2 is I'm going to widen my stance slightly from my irons so I have a little more stability for the wider golf swing, but I'm not going to do as much of a driver. It's not going to be quite as exaggerated.
Yeah, if we look at you here, you're just outside your shoulders. Now you can still rotate. It's a stable stance. If you get too wide, you won't have enough rotation, won't get up to the golf ball. And if you're too narrow, it might be sloppy, right?
And I think the last thing I would say is I don't want to feel like I'm trying to reach to add a bunch of stability and power. I want myself to be the same distance from my golf club that I am from an iron. Yeah. And then I'm going to be farther from the ball because the club is doing it for me. But the more I tend to reach and get too wide, which is very common what we see with 3-woods, it'll change the shape of my golf swing and make it really difficult to get back to that golf ball.
Yeah, it gets the club around behind you a lot of times really flat.
Certainly.
And people will either swing and top it or thin a 3-wood, or they'll come over the top and hit down on it, take a divot and hit a big cut. So
Totally.
Both things are bad. So that iron distance from ball, little wider stance, ball a little forward. Then what about the golf swing itself?
Well, so with a 3-wood in particular, I want to try to let the club do the work. Like you said, if you have a 3-wood that hits the ball with the intended launch angles and stuff, I don't want to try to artificially create those. So I'm going to make sure I have a nice wide and low takeaway so it feels like I'm going to be more shallow through the golf swing.
Yeah, you notice that, everyone, how shallow that is, right? There's no lift with the wrists or pickup with the golf club. It's a swingy takeaway. That's super important as well. Gets you shallow into the golf ball in most cases.
Agreed. And then I'm also going to make sure that I have a nice balanced rotational golf swing. I think a lot of people struggle with trying to hit the 3-wood up in the air. So they'll tend to get too aggressive with the lower body and fall back with their chest, and that's what leads to bottoming out back here and potentially topping my 3-wood. So I want to make sure it's nice and rhythmic and it's rotational. And if I do those things, then it'll be easier to make sure I bottom out in the right spot, which is the secret to hitting this club properly.
Lots to digest there, golfers. Don't stand too far away. Don't stand too wide. Get the ball slightly forward. That long, swingy takeaway and rhythm. Let's see it, Jake. Let's finish off with a nice, clean hit.
So I'm a little wider than my shoulders. I'm nice and relaxed, shallow, and rhythmic.
And there we go, 11 or 12 degree launch angle. Get the right club for you. Hit the club. Let the club do the work. Hit the club with patience, and you'll have more success.